All right, folks, my riff, there he goes again. No, not President Biden this time. It's his spokesman, John Kirby. So our Fox White House reporter, Jackie Heinrich, asked Kirby a series of very good questions today and basically never got a straight answer. Take a listen to some of this.
Is the assessment still the same that Iran did not directly play a role in this attack? Because you had Senator Blumenthal saying over the weekend.
I never said that Iran did not play a role. What we've said, and there's been no change, what we said, Jackie, is Iran is certainly complicit here. We still haven't seen any direct, specific intelligence that says they were witting or participating or directing the attacks of October 7th.
All right. No specifics. I mean, he didn't answer her question. She said direct, and then he just kind of dodges it and deflects it. Now, here's Kirby yesterday.
We know Iran continues to support Hamas and Hezbollah. And we know that Iran is closely monitoring these events and in some cases actively facilitating these attacks and spurring on others who may want to exploit the conflict for their own good or for that of Iran. We know Iran's goal is to maintain some level of deniability here, but we're not going to allow them to do that.
You know, again, some level of deniability. A wouldn't happen without Iran, B wouldn't happen without Iran, but then he clings to this fiction that Iran had no direct intervention. It's incredible. Now take a listen to what Secretary Antony Blinken said Sunday.
We expect that there's a likelihood of escalation by Iranian proxies directed against our forces, directed against our personnel. We are taking steps to make sure that we can effectively defend our people and respond decisively if we need to. This is not what we want, not what we're looking for.
Not what we want. Not what we want, not what we're looking for. You know, these two, Kirby and Blinken, not answering the questions. There's no direct plain talk. That's because they're not warriors. They're playing defense, not offense. They're more comfortable sitting around the Yale faculty lounge, tossing around dreamy aspirations for peace, to use former Defense Deputy Assistant Secretary Elbridge Colby's line. Colby on our show last night. And when Secretary of State Blinken says, this is not what we want, not what we're looking for, that is so defeatist. It almost borders on victimhood. The United States is not a victim. The United States should not be wobbly. In fact, the United States should be on the offense. Blinken and Kirby are afraid of what the terrorists might do. Now, wait a second. The terrorists should be afraid of what the United States might do. These Bidens have the story completely backward and hence wrong. Iran and its terrorist puppets should be scared of American escalation against them. They were afraid of what Donald Trump would do. Years ago, the communists were afraid of what Ronald Reagan would do. But they're not afraid of what Joe Biden would do. That is the problem today. And again, Kirby talks about deterrence today. Okay, show me the deterrence. Kirby talked about additional sanctions. Show me the additional sanctions. All right, how many Iranian tankers with cargo bound for China were stopped by U.S. sanctions today? How many Iranian banks were put out of business by U.S. financial sanctions today? None that I know of. And of course, there was no Biden snapback of the Iranian ballistic missile sanctions for the UN Security Council Resolution 1223. So I don't really know, I don't really know what Mr. Kirby is talking about. And for Kirby, or anybody else in the Biden administration, to keep denying Iran's direct involvement in planning and financing Hamas and other terrorist acts is pure nonsense. You know, Mr. Kirby better watch out. People are going to start calling him Baghdad Bob, for those who remember Saddam Hussein's harebrained spokesperson many years ago. Now look, another point. Take a listen to what John Ratcliffe said last night.
Americans weren't killed in some kinder or gentler manner. Americans were beheaded. Americans were raped. Americans were stabbed, shot. All of that has taken place, and there's no outrage from this administration.
That is powerful testimony. The Bidens may not realize it, but the terrorists have committed acts of war against the United States. Even Kirby said there may have been a dozen attacks on U.S. troops and ships in the Middle East since October 7th. The killing of over 30 Americans, the hostage-taking of maybe a dozen more, are acts of war. Firing on American ships, embassies, and Air Force bases. These are acts of war. When will the Bidens wake up to those facts? When will the Bidens stop appeasing Iran and their terrorist puppets and begin a serious campaign of deterrence? Will they ever? We need warriors in the White House, not Yale faculty lounge discussions. All right? And that's my riff.